Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. Today I just want to talk about remasters and why I feel video game remasters are not the way to go for the industry, even though we are seeing a lot of remasters these days, to the point where something like The Last of Us Part 2 comes out late in the PS4's life cycle and is instantly remastered in like a year or something. Why did we need this? Why did it need to be remastered? Could they not have waited a year to put it out on the new consoles and just delay the release by what, 6 months and just say, hey, we'll release it all at the same time? Why did this need to be remastered for the new consoles? But this is the trend I'm seeing in video games. It's that everything needs to be remastered. I mean, we have The Last of Us, the original Last of Us. Where is it? Here we go. We have 3 generations of the same game. Like, come on. And yes, I love The Last of Us. I think The Last of Us is one of the best games that were ever made. But why do we need to remaster it over and over and over and then remake it? Like, come on. And yes, this is because Sony doesn't do backwards compatibility, at least to the PS3, so you can't put in the original PS3 game and play it. I mean, you can play backwards compatibility with PS4, so that is a possibility. You can play the original PS4 game this way, but it's like, can we just have backwards compatibility? Why does it need to constantly be remastered? And people say, prettier graphics and this and that, and frame rates and all that. And it's like, dude, this game was developed for the PS3. Like, yes, cool, frame rates and that. I would want to see 60 FPS on part 2 when they made that. I don't really care too much to see enhanced frame rates on a game from back then. And yes, you might say this one can run at a certain pace. But, come on, I just want a new game. Give us a new one and put all the top-end specs in that new game. Like, they did something with the Drake collection, so these 3, where they kind of made these games run a bit better. And my first experience with these was the Nathan Drake collection. But, you know, I've also got the original PS3 games, should I ever get a PS3 again and want to play them. The reason I collect these ones is because these are the original intended way to play them. And yes, the Drake collection's there if you don't want to go back and buy a PS3, or you don't want to pull your PS3 out of storage or whatever. But it should be possible to at least put these in the PS5. And yes, people might say, system on a chip is too expensive. I get system on a chip is too expensive. I know that's why the PS3 was so expensive when it first launched. But we're talking about emulation. And people who say, oh, emulation can't be done, it's too costly, it's too this. Sony is already doing it. They're just not giving it to us in the console. I mean, look at PlayStation Plus. They can run Tekken 2, they can run PS2 games as well on that subscription service, but they can't run... and they've also got the PlayStation Now brand. Now, that's not available in Australia, but PlayStation Now was around and you could play PS3 games through online. So it is possible to do it. It's just a matter of, I don't think they see any incentive to do it because, you know, the consumers are paying them at that point. But I've said in recent videos that, and this is a new channel, so the recent videos are on my other channel, Jamie Toomey Live. But what I've said in recent videos is that, hey, if you need to earn something from it, re-release the game on the PlayStation Store. Re-release the original Crash Bandicoot, not this one, but re-release the original PS1 classic. And obviously it belongs to Activision now, but make a license deal and say, hey, Xbox, like, can we license this and we'll, in return, we'll give you, we'll let you put Halo or the Xbox Game Pass on the store or whatever. Like, give an incentive to work together and get Crash Bandicoot, put the original PS1 classic. Same with Spyro. But, you know, at this point, it's kind of like, they want to sell us remasters because they earn more money from these. And yes, this is Activision, so this is Vicarious Visions who remastered this one. But I know that, yes, this is a very good remaster, this one. Very good remaster of Crash Bandicoot. But even then, this is not as good as the original, because the original was a lot harder than this. And I want to play the originals, this is the thing. I should be able to put in a disc that I still own into a PS5, a PS1 disc, and play it. And the fact that we can't do it, it screams problems with the industry. As I said, Nathan Drake, I've got these. And yes, the Drake collection is out there, and they want you to buy the Drake collection. But what if I don't want to buy the Drake collection? What if I want to play it as originally intended? I'm out of luck unless I go back and buy a PS3. And that's a massive problem with the industry at the moment. Because you don't know what remaster you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get a remaster like, Spider-Man was a decent remaster. This was a decent remaster for PS5. I just don't like that they changed the character design, so that's why I keep my PS4 copy around. Because Peter Parker in this one had a completely different character design. It looked a lot older. and I think it suited the character a lot more. And then by the time the remaster happened, and by the time Spider-Man 2 happened, they'd made him look like more like Tom Holland, and it was just like, oh my god, like, okay, I get it's the MCU, like, I get it, but like, do we have to make everyone look like Tom Holland? Can we just have like, this one looked a bit more like Andrew Garfield, you know? But you don't know what you're actually going to get with remasters. You don't know if they're going to change character designs. You don't know if they're going to phone it in. And I'm not saying that's what happened with this release, but I am being critical of this release because I think this is not the way to do a remaster. And they might have fixed it now, who knows? But the fact that we got the definitive collection looking as it did when it released is a massive problem with the industry. And yes, Spider-Man, character designs, this was a 2017 game, and the fact that they changed the character design and said it didn't look too good for 4K. And yes, I can understand that to an extent, but could you at least retain the original actor? Like, is there a reason why the actor was changed to make it look more like Tom Holland? And I get more people want to play as Tom Holland. I get it. But I liked the original character model, and I don't have the option in the newer games, or the PS5 remaster, or even number 2, to put the character design back to that model. But, you know, I think that's a massive problem. And Spider-Man 2, great game, by the way. I'm not knocking that at all. But one of my favourite games, let me talk a bit more, I'll finish on this one. Life is Strange is one of my favourite games of all time. It's up there. And they remastered this one recently, so this has a PS4 remaster that is also available on PS5, but it's not native PS5. I bought it and played a bit of it, and I was like, this is not how it's supposed to look. It looks too pretty. This is a gritty story, and it's meant to be... I like the older animations for this because it just works. And yes, this is open, by the way, for anyone who's wondering. I just keep it in the plastic because it keeps all that artwork nice and pristine. But something like Life is Strange, there is an intended vision for a game like that. Like, it's meant to look that way for a reason. Same with The Walking Dead Season 1 and Season 2, which, not the TV show, the games. They look that way for a certain reason, and when it goes back and remasters and changes core gameplay and core look of the game, that is a problem with remasters. And I think that with remasters, as we go down this dangerous path of we don't need backwards compatibility, Xbox are trying to retain backwards compatibility to an extent, but it's on a software level. Nintendo do what Nintendo need to do, so they just kind of do their own thing, but, you know, they will still give you some Mario games here and there, and on the Switch console, I like that you can go in and it's a subscription service, but you can still play Game Boy games like Tetris. Like, the only thing I don't like about that is that it's a subscription and I can't buy the game outright. So that kind of annoys me in a way, but... And they don't have Pokemon or Super Mario Land on there. So, like, what are Nintendo doing with the Game Boy classics? Because I'm a big fan of the original Game Boy. Like, that was the thing I grew up on. But that's irrelevant. When a game like this gets remastered, the Life is Strange, yes, it can look a lot prettier. Yes, it can run better. Yes, the frame rates can look great. But what we're losing is the intended play, the intended way it was shipped, the intended experience. And yes, it looks prettier. It looks way prettier. But a game like this is meant to look gritty, and it's meant to look kind of darker, and meant to look kind of not beautiful and pristine and this and that. And people might disagree with that statement, and I get it. Like, you want prettier graphics, and I get it. You want your 4K TV with a PlayStation or whatever to shine. I get that. But there was nothing wrong with this edition. I liked this one, and this one was, in my view, the definitive way to play this game. And yes, this is a limited edition copy, so yeah, one of my favorite games. Why did it need to get remastered? And I know it gives new gamers a way into the series and a way to experience the original game, but there was nothing wrong with this in my view, and I feel that we become too reliant on video game remasters at the point now where you're putting out a game. Where is it again? It's all the way down the bottom because I've been putting games on top of it. Where is it? It's all the way down the bottom. 1 second. We've become so reliant on remasters now that a game that came out in, what, 2020? Was it 2020 that this came out? Yeah, 2020. It was during when the world shut down. So a game like this... Oh, man, I've got a bit of a cold, by the way, so if that's why I look a bit off, that's probably why. But a game that came out in 2020, this needed a remaster? Why didn't they just wait a year and say, okay, we'll release it in 2021 and we'll put them out both, PS4 and PS5? It's all about money with some of these games, and some of them, it's like, you see a trend in Blu-ray as well, where they will put out the Blu-ray version first and ship the 4K version later to try to get you to buy both. And it's kind of annoying that that happens in the industry and that we don't have the right to choose what copy you want. And yes, if you want a Blu-ray faster, you go out and buy the Blu-ray. But then, a couple of months later, they'll say, oh, by the way, we're putting out the 4K release now. And it's like, oh, well, I've just bought the Blu-ray version. Like, now I have to buy it again. Or, what most people are doing is they're just saying, oh, I don't care. I'm just keeping my Blu-ray copy and, oh, wait, I'm not going to buy this 4K copy. And that makes companies lose money. And they're like, oh, we don't see any potential in 4K. You don't see potential in 4K because you shipped the Blu-ray first and you didn't put the 4K option out at the same time. That's why you don't see potential in it, because you deflated the chance you had of capitalizing on it. Anyway, guys, I'm ranting about Blu-rays. I'll do that in another Blu-ray video. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think remasters are... the video game industry's reliance on remasters is a bit too overkill at this point? It's a bit too over the top. It's a bit too much. Let me know what you think, guys. Jump down in the comments and let me know, and I'll get back to you in another video. Peace.